Appreciate you all being here tonight. Let me open the proceedings. Under local budget law, we are required to hold separate hearings for the Portland Development Commission and for the City of Portland's approved budget. Each of these are taken up by a budget committee, the same people, convened and conducted separately. We'll do the Portland Development Commission hearing first. After the Portland Development Commission hearing is closed, then the City of Portland budget hearing will begin. So I am now convening the Portland Development Commission Budget Committee. Gina, would you please call the roll?
Here. Here.
Here.
Here. Okay. Welcome, everyone. And we'll now take, I don't know if we have an opening presentation at all, but we're going to take public testimony if we have anyone signed up to testify on the PDC budget. And we're going to ask everyone to limit their comments to 2 minutes tonight because we have so many people signed up. And if someone else gives pretty much what you want to say, just wave your hands and then waive your right to speak if you're willing to do that, because that way someone else who has a new subject to bring up will get the chance. But obviously, if you have signed up, we'll try to get you in. But if someone else has covered your point, feel free to wave and support them. For those of you who haven't been here for a city council meeting, we have some basic rules of decorum here, and that is each person is given the opportunity to come up and speak. Again, we're going to set a 2-minute limit for that. If you agree with someone's position and want to support it, you're free to wave your hand or give the thumbs up, but please no vocal demonstrations either for or against your fellow citizen who's up here making their points. If you're disruptive, we'll have to ask you to leave. But this looks like a friendly crowd, and we're glad you're all here tonight for this important part of the democratic process in the city of Portland. So with that, we'll see if we do have some folks signed up on the PDC budget and call the first three. 4031. We're doing numbers. 4031. You have to use the microphone there.
Is the mic on?
Come on up.
If you could call 3 at a time.
Call a couple more. Oh, only one. Okay, you
Mayor,
get.
can I ask just a point of clarification? Because we're talking about the general fund portion of the Portland Development Commission budget, is that correct?
I think we're talking about the whole Portland Development Commission budget.
So people have a chance to testify either during our next session or this session if they want to talk about economic development?
Correct.
Okay.
Because we also have general fund dollars going into PDC in the city budget, correct. Okay. Good evening and welcome.
Good evening. Good evening, Mayor Hales, fellow commissioners. My name is Tony Jones. I'm the Executive Director of Metropolitan Contractor Improvement Partnership. I'm here today to request the City of Portland and the Portland Development Commission to continue to invest in developing the capacity of minority and disadvantaged contractors. I want to inform you why this investment is important and the type of results it yields. MCIP is a nonprofit business support and training organization focused on coaching construction businesses to increase their profitability and provide jobs by improving their marketing, estimating, project management, and accounting. We offer a plan center, workshops, and coaching. Our focus is to build the capacity of minority and disadvantaged construction businesses to improve economic equity in communities of color. Over the last 6 years, we've accomplished the following. We've taught over 136 businesses key business skills. 52% were African American, 22% Hispanic, 6% Asian, 6% Native American, and 14% Caucasian. Our operating costs over these last 6 years were about $1.6 million through various partnerships. But we've assisted 77 of those minority and disadvantaged contractors secure and manage over $50 million in contracts. And our firms average about 2.8 employees. And I took a conservative estimate that we help retain or create 150 jobs. Why this investment is important in building in the capacity of minority contractors. The need, as you guys well know, the Coalition of Communities of Color report the African American community in Multnomah County, an unsettling profile, highlights the economic disparity faced by African Americans, and I would echo the same for Latinos and Native Americans. And it's really the underlying issues highlighted from the Trader Joe's projects. We know that this challenge is real. We have to create wealth and provide living wage jobs for communities of color so they can take care of themselves and all their families, including those most vulnerable. The solution, here's how technical assistance is leveraged to grow a business. MCIP is working with PDC on the upcoming dumbbell project in Central East Side. Through PDC establishing clear equity goals, the developer, Guerrilla Development, contacted MCIP to outline a strategy to meet the goals. The leverage and ripple effect happened when Guerrilla Development requested our help to find contractors on their private developments. We were able to identify a Hispanic framing contractor that worked on private developments, and we're also providing them with the technical assistance to grow their business, creating more jobs. So that's how we leverage the opportunity. So the other opportunity that we see is that we know you're developing a strategy to invest an additional $20 million in the Interstate Urban Renewal District focused on affordable housing and economic equity. MCIP sees this as an excellent opportunity and knows that consistent investment in capacity building of minority contractors provides a way for communities of color to grow a business, hire employees, and pay a living wage. This investment is recommended and supported by PDC Commissioner Andrew Aneshka Colas-Dixon. We have learned through my experience and our team's experience that some of the successful firms now, such as Colas Construction, City of Roses Disposal Recycling, and Northwest Infrastructure, they're firms I worked with 15 years ago. I worked with their fathers, and I worked with Michael Martin when he was 18 years old. Now they're very successful minority contractors providing impact to our community. So we know through their determination, hard work, and support from a continuum of services, we are now working with new firms that we hope to develop, like these existing firms, to create jobs and create wealth in communities of color. Thank you.
No, thank you. Thanks very much. Okay, is there anyone else that wants to testify on the PDC budget? Yes, come on up.
4007, 4074, and 4058.
But you're here. Go ahead. That's all right.
Sorry about that.
That's okay.
Good evening. My name is Shemaine Coffey, and I'm a local business owner in St. John's and also sit on the board of directors for St. John's Main Street Coalition. Wanted to come and first of all say thank you. I recognize many faces from the parade this last weekend. It was nice to see all of you walking in the parade and in front of our storefront. We really appreciate the ongoing commitment demonstrated in the mayor's proposed budget to preserve core funding to support the diverse network of the MPI and Main Street districts throughout the city. As a business owner, I see daily how these 8 districts are working in partnership with the PDC to make sure that our community-based businesses are thriving. My business just turned 2 on Monday, and so the PDC and Main Street programs have directly impacted me on a regular basis. For too long, economic development in many of Portland's most economically, racially diverse neighborhoods has been an either-or story. Improved storefronts often meant displacing longtime businesses and families on our side streets. Sorry. The work of our Main Streets and MPI districts is telling a new both and story by providing economic opportunity that strengthens our existing businesses and allows us to envision more vibrant business districts in neighborhoods that we can remain a part of. We're really excited then that the mayor's proposed to add 3 MPI districts to our network on Martin Luther King Boulevard, in Lenson, and Old Town Chinatown. We're confident that its work will be as successful in these neighborhoods as it has been in ours. The city's support through the PDC is absolutely critical, both in its direct funding of our neighborhood level organizational and structure and its centralized support of training and technical assistance that benefits all of the districts within the network. The city's funding not only makes our work possible, it makes it more effective. We are concerned that the proposed budget directs expansion of the network without an expansion in its funding. This is a return to an either-or proposition. Expand the network, but dilute the district-level training and technical assistance that has been crucial to our success. Instead, we encourage City Council to continue the both-and spirit of our partnerships by expanding funding to support the network. The strength and stability of long-term partnerships between PDC, our communities, and our neighbor businesses are changing the way we think about the future of our neighborhoods. City Council's ongoing support of these partnerships is essential to making them work. Thank you for demonstrating the commitment in this end and in future budgets.
Thank you. Thanks for the great work that you and the other merchants are doing to make St. John's so great. It's fun to be there. I know we all enjoyed seeing the progress in the district as well as the parade. Thank you. Good evening.
Good evening, Mayor and Commissioners. My name is Juliette Hyams, and I own Bob's Rocket Pizza at 4935 Northeast 42nd Avenue. And it's right where Northeast Alberta tees at 42nd. I serve on the board of the Northeast 42nd Avenue Business Association, and I'm also the delegate to Venture Portland and the grant coordinator, and I'm here to emphasize the value of the NPI in the district's evolution. Since I bought the business in 2009, I've been working on economic development in the district with Venture Portland, the city's Main Streets program, and eventually the NPI, our 42nd Avenue. The result is a renaissance in our business district due to the partnering of the 42nd Avenue Business Association with the NPI. To gauge it quantitatively, consider that the last year has brought 6 new businesses and over 60 jobs. 40 businesses have received technical assistance, and the NPI sponsored 2 career fairs. Next month, we will welcome a farmer's market for the summer. It will bring approximately 200 established customers to the storefronts of Rocket Pizza, Rose's Ice Cream, and Old Salt Market. Qualitatively, we are seeing the fruits of relationships stretching back 5 years working together at a district level. We have a solid team of economic development partners working together efficiently to incubate businesses and leverage relationships. In short, the NPI has knit together elements of the community strategically and methodically to serve businesses, residents, and the local economy. I invite each of you to join me for lunch at Rocket Pizza so I can show you the results. Thank you.
Sounds great. Thank you. Thanks very much. And do we have some others on PDC budget? Anyone else wants to testify on the Portland Development Commission budget? If that's the case, then I will adjourn the PDC Budget Committee. We will reconvene as a PDC Budget Committee on May 28th to take action on the proposed PDC budget and any amendments. Okay, so I'm now convening the meeting of the City of Portland Budget Committee. Thank you, PDC staff, and we'll bring in council clerk staff and take it away from there. You're on, okay. And well, I think we have some invited testimony up front. Council had some particular requests for invited testimony, and then we'll take people that have signed up. First, I think we have some elected officials here tonight. At least we have one, I believe. We have Representative Val Hoyle, who's here tonight, is she not? Welcome, Representative Hoyle, our House Majority Leader. Well, welcome. Nice to have you here. Any other officials? We have Don Grotting from the David Douglas School District, our superintendent. Welcome. We're not calling you up yet, though. I'm just recognizing you.
You go last, Ron.
We will give you the courtesy in a minute, but we have some students that get to come up before you. So any other elected officials or local government folks in the room? So Don, hang on just a minute. But first we have some students from Robert Gray Middle School that we want to call up, and then we'll call on Superintendent Grotting. Come on up. I know Don would agree with this order. Good evening and welcome. You just need to give us your name and then give us your testimony, please.
Ladies first. Okay. So my name is Sophie Sangstake. I'm in 6th grade at Robert Gray Middle School. So I came here because I think that the Southwest Trail from Robert Gray to the Stevens Creek Crossing apartment buildings is really unsafe. It's steep, muddy, and really unpleasant to walk on. We think that it definitely needs some stairs and a bridge, so then it'll be easier to walk on. With new kids coming next year or sooner, they should make it so those kids can walk to and from school. I walk to school, and it can be really nice. The sunshine and exercise can help you get ready for school, and it's pleasant. The first time I walked on the trail, I said it was like a jungle. It had all the elements. It had the trees, the animals, and the danger. And all that's cool except for the danger. So I think that we should get a new bridge and stairs.
Great. Thank you. Thanks very much. Good evening.
Hi, I'm Hunter Parrott.
Go ahead.
So I'm an 8th grader at Robert Gray Middle School, and I've been going to Sun School for 3 years now. So each of those years, Sun School was at risk of being shut down. So I'm going to say that Sun School was able to get my math teacher to come in and help me with my homework. So I feel really supported at Sun School. Like, I feel like I can talk to people if I'm having any trouble, and and I also heard that Sun School did get refunded there at Robert Gray, so then I felt like doing a happy dance. So yeah, I'm very glad it got refunded so that more students can benefit Sun School like I have. So thank you for supporting Sun School.
Thank you both for coming, and please,
Can we suspend the rules on this?
yeah, let's
give them
thank
a round
these
of
students
applause.
for doing a good job. Thank you both. Okay, now we'll call on Superintendent Don Grotting from David Douglas School District. Welcome, Don.
Thank you for having your priorities correct. Students
Thought you'd
always before
appreciate that.
adults. Mayor Harrells, Commissioners, thank you for this opportunity to present tonight. My name is Don Grotting, David Douglas School District Superintendent. First of all, I just want to start out by thanking you for your support of the Earl Boyles Learning Center and Neighborhood Center. Not only the support that you've put in for this budget, but your past donations, and not only that, but the PDC support that you've provided. Your support by the City of Portland not only has provided us with dollars from the city, but you have greatly influenced county, private donors, and we will complete this project, and it will be open in September. It will be serving some of the city's neediest children and families. This catchment area has a free and reduced lunch rate of over 80%. And I just want you to know what you're doing for this school. And the other thing that I really want you to know is that this is going to be a replicable model, not only for David Douglas, but for the city and the entire state. We have people coming from all over. It's going to provide these children with a world-class education, a Head Start foundation to be successful, to reach that critical third grade reading benchmark, but also to graduate from our high schools with the skills necessary to go on to be successful in post-secondary education or go into the workforce. And finally, I think it's going to, for the city, it's going to reduce some of the social costs that we incur when our children are not successful in our schools. As I said, we are going to open in September. On June 6th, we'll be having an opening in which all of you will be invited, as in September, a special event for donors, and you will be invited for that. You know, we're already seeing 97% attendance rates for these children, increases in math, literacy. We're going to have the data to show that we're doing the right thing. And finally, I just want to say, I think I've sent you letters on it, but David Douglas, we're spending about $50 million in your city over 3 years through a bond project. And I want you to know that we're using those dollars wisely, but we're actually able to increase the dollars because of your planning and permitting division. They have been unbelievable. And what that's causing us to do is bid projects on time. We're saving money, and there's more money going back into our classroom. So don't know who's all responsible for running that department, but I want to tell you, they are doing great things. And when I talk to other superintendents in cities that are having problems, it's causing them to bid projects late, and it's increasing the cost of their projects, are going overruns. Ours are coming in under. And those people down there, a lot of times, they don't get the recognition, but thank you for overseeing them, and it's been great to work with them. Our construction manager said they've never seen it like this. So
Thank you. I'll pass along your kudos to Director Paul Scull and the team. They really work very hard for the citizens.
most of all, thank you for making a positive difference for the neediest kids in Portland. And thank each and every one of you. Every time I start feeling sorry for myself about having to prioritize budgets for my school districts, I think about you five, and you're having to prioritize budgets for an entire city. So thank you for the jobs that you're doing, making a difference for citizens and children in Portland.
Thanks, Don. Thanks for being a good partner. Appreciate you. Okay, we have one more panel of invited testimony. As the council knows, but maybe not everyone here, Portland has joined into an initiative nationally called the Black Male Achievement Initiative. It's organized by the National League of Cities, and 11 cities across the country are working together to try to address issues and opportunities facing young African-American men in our city. Philadelphia, Oakland, New Orleans, other major U.S. cities are involved, and we're comparing notes and holding each other accountable. And we all have a panel of folks involved in the Portland version of that initiative here to give a brief report to the council, because there's new funding associated with that in the proposed budget. So come on up, gentlemen. Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening.
First off, I'd like to thank the council, the mayor, and
Well, just give us your name, LeBray.
Oh, LeBray Franklin. Would you like me to spell it? Or?
No, you don't need to spell it. We got it.
Okay. First off, I'd like to thank the commissioners and the mayor for being here today. I just wanted to start off by saying that I appreciate all the effort and the time that you've been putting into this. You know, as being my mayor, you know, you have a little more power, which helps me as an individual be able to get my word across to everybody, you know, and to have somebody at a higher hierarchy than you, it helps a lot more, so people can see the issues and they can see the things that's going on inside. And I feel as you doing this program, it's helping a lot of African Americans, because it's helping me first of all, and you have to start somewhere. So I feel like if we can build a foundation through this program, then there's a lot of people that can be taken out of the streets like I was. I've made my mistakes and I've ran with people I ran with and had those days, but I learned that it's the important things. It's like caring for someone, caring about your community and how other people do, and not just living for yourself is what matters. You see what I'm saying? And this program has helped me realize that, and it showed me a lot of different things. And as far as seeing a whole new scenery, I went from, you know, sitting in the house of rain to seeing no clouds and palm trees for a while, just for me to talk, you know. So it showed me something positive. It made me feel like I was being, like somebody cared for me, you know, being cherished, and I thank you for that. So I wanted to personally give you your thank you and your shout out for that. And I just wanted to tell everybody how basically BMA has had an effect on me. I mean, as far as maturity level, I've always been mature, and I feel like a lot of people, but I've never really been into school. You know, I've never really been into like programs, after school programs, anything like that. But this gives us an opportunity to make programs appealing to people my age and my skin color. African American kids tend to drift off and do their own things because a lot of people don't tend to care to the things that they actually, you know, provide the resources that they actually like in a way that's appealing to them. So I'm happy that we get to finally work together and find something that suits them, you know, that works for everybody's favor and everybody's favor, you know. And it's a good experience to get to work with everybody on the board. You know, I never thought I would be taking pictures with you. Now I got selfies and things with you and stuff like that, you know. So, I mean, it's a good experience all the way around, and it's gonna help me in the long run. I can always use this and show that I did something personal, like, you know, professional. So I thank you guys.
Thank you. We appreciate your leadership. Mr. Franklin represented Portland at the Black Male Achievement meeting in Oakland and did a great job of presenting there. And we appreciate your leadership in helping us to make this program relevant and reach people that we need to reach. So thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
You want to take it next?
My name is Val Polk. I'm a youth advocate at Rosemary Anderson POIC High School. Thank you, Mayor and Commissioners, for being here today, and thank you very much for listening to us. I too attended the Oakland Black Male Initiative meeting and got to talk to a lot of people from different cities to find out what they're doing in their cities and see. I've been involved with a lot of things here in this city. I was the very first gang member that got taken out of gangs through the YEEP program, Youth Empowerment Employment Program. And I've been out of that lifestyle for many, many moons. I worked at Providence Hospital for 8 years. Patient willed me 4 years books and tuition to go to college. I took advantage of that. And for my internship, I interned at Rosemary Anderson High School, and Dr. Kelly and Joe McFerrin gave me the opportunity to get hired there. And I've been working there, this will be 14 years in June. I am a living, existing individual that, knows what people can do to help us. And I'm an individual that knows that I have to give back. And I love what I do. I love working with LeBray, and I love working with youth, that has his background. And this is what I do. This is what I love. The Black Male Initiative is helping us as a city be stronger in reaching out and touching these young people and finding out how we can help them, which ways, what we can do for them. And with the collaboration with other cities, we're able to collaborate better here within the city with different organizations that also want the same thing that we want. And I really, really appreciate having the opportunity to go. And I really appreciate having the opportunity to continue with the Black Male Initiative and to meet strong brothers that are older and can guide me and to, teach me that where I can continue to teach the young people and be on the front line. I'm not in the office, I'm on the front lines. I'm on the streets when things happen. I know who's involved with almost every gang here in Portland. I talk to young gang members every single day. And it is what it is. It's an issue. And as a team, we can keep tackling this issue, but it takes a team. Thank you all.
Thank you very much. Good evening.
Good evening. Thank you, Mayor. Commissioners, I apologize for being late. I think with Val, when he mentioned older, I think he was looking at me, shooting me a look. I'm here to speak on behalf of the Black Male Initiative and to ask for more than just 1 year's support to put any influence I have behind ongoing support. I'm currently the principal at Boise Elliott Humboldt School. It's a K-8 school in North Portland, the intersection of Fremont and Mississippi. It's my first year at that school. Previously to that, I was the principal at Hosford Middle School in Southeast Portland. My 27-year career has put me in all the quadrants of the city except for Northwest. I spent 6 years out in Tigard-Tualatin School District, so I've been around the city quite a bit. My family moved to this area in 1979. As I entered my junior year of high school, we moved to Hillsboro, Oregon. From there, I went to Oregon State University and started my work with Portland Public Schools in 1986. When I got the phone call from the mayor's office to participate in this initiative and be a part of the steering committee, I was somewhat skeptical, but at the same time excited to see what possibilities would unfold at this very first meeting, at the very first meeting of the steering committee. And what struck me immediately was that this is not just a local initiative, that there are 8 or 9 other cities where the same work is happening. And what sticks out to me about that is that we don't have to be alone in this, but it also shows that this problem, this issue, this dilemma that's facing us at this particular time is a nationwide issue. And the other thing that struck me about the work is that it brings together 4 quadrants of agencies. It's not all just on education. It's not all just on law enforcement and our juvenile systems. It's not all on just family and communities, but it's 4 quadrants of agencies coming together. And I was also very pleased to see that there was a plan, there was a direction, And as I thought about what I would say today to you all, I just think that there are defining moments. And I have a grandmother that's turning 102 this summer. And her grandmother was a slave, was born a slave until she was 10 years old. And my grandmother remembers those stories and has told those stories to us. And I think sometimes we think that those times in our country's history were really a long time ago. But what I've raised my kids to understand is that their great-grandmother touched the hand of a slave. So we're really just a handshake away from those times, and we're still dealing with fallout from those times. And it seems like when we mention the word slave or discrimination or affirmative action, it turns people off instead of exciting people to really repair what has happened. I see this as an exciting opportunity, a defining moment. I've been in the community a long time. My school that I work at currently has the most African-American students out of any school in Portland, high school, middle school, or elementary school. And that's a defining moment for me. And so to be a part of this work, I knew I wanted to teach since I was in 4th grade to give back to the community, and this is an opportunity to do that. I see Mayor Hales championing this, and feel like to cut it off at just a 1-year funding level would really be a disservice to everything that's been started to date. Thank you.
Thank you all. Really appreciate your work. Look forward to more. Thanks so much for coming tonight. Okay, I think we are ready to move into the list of folks that have signed up, and you have numbers, I think, so go ahead and call 3, please.
Okay, we have 4074, 4082, and 4094.
There's one, okay.
You might wanna call-
4082, 4074, and 4094.
You might want to call the next 3 also so that they can be coming down from upstairs if they're up there.
The next 3 are 4042, 4090, and 4056.
Great, thank you. Good evening.
Thank you. Hi, my name is Justin Burry. I am the interim director for the Community Alliance of Tenants. We educate and empower and activate tenants to demand safe, stable, and affordable homes. And I'm here today to ask for your support for the fair housing and Title VI funding in the PHB ad package. And additionally, the homelessness services and the affordable housing funding for complete neighborhoods in that ad package. What the fair housing area will do will fund letter writing clinics, one-on-one support for tenants, and evictions court counseling for tenants who have high barriers. The reason this is considered fair housing is because a lot of tenants with high barriers, such as literacy or language barriers, often are members of protected classes, and so there's a disparate impact there in which they're not able to fully defend their rights in the same way that someone not in a protected class would. And so by funding this kind of work, it would help reduce some of that disparate impact and help the city affirmatively further fair housing under the Fair Housing Act in compliance with federal funding. Additionally, the Title VI component would allow for the city to fund translation interpretation services that are available to organizations like CAT. Oftentimes, organizations like ours, we work with underrepresented communities that don't speak English, and this would help them actively participate more in the political process, the democratic process, as well as more access public services and community events, even such as this. I know there are interpretation services here, but this would expand and allow for more access. And so, CAT, along with these other organizations, have very tight resources. We often pay for translations or ask volunteers to do it. And sometimes those volunteers, especially with languages that, like Bhutanese or some of the very specific languages, there's one volunteer who's doing the interpretation for the entire community. And so, is that my time? Okay.
Just wrap up, that's fine.
And this is an investment because it can help people stay in their homes, and so that it won't burden other services, and also it can help reduce some of the costs in terms of providing affordable housing. So if you can think of it as an investment, it's a very kind of low cost, very effective service that can be provided by the city.
Thank you. Hi.
Hi, good evening, Mayor Hales, Commissioners. My name is Jess Larson. I work at Northwest Pilot Project, and I'm also here to support Community Alliance attendance in this add-back package for the Portland housing budget. I work at Northwest Pilot Project as an advocate for seniors in Portland who are experiencing a housing crisis. And this can be people who are homeless in Portland, but it is also often people who are at risk of losing their housing. And so many times, we meet new individuals, new Portlanders who are in a housing crisis because after they've come from evictions court, where they didn't understand their opportunities to defend their housing, to protect the safety of their home. They didn't know how to hold on to their apartment, and they did the best they could, but they often leave with terrible payment plans that they can't afford, and they come to Northwest Pilot Project now with greater landlord debt, with an eviction on their record, and bigger financial and legal barriers to gaining access to future housing. And we've long advocated at Northwest Pilot Project for the need of this kind of support in our community to low-income tenants going through evictions to prevent their loss of their home and to be a smart investment into our housing, our system, our continuum of care in preventing and ending homelessness. And we're so grateful at Northwest Pilot Project for your investment into our continuum of care, but we also know that this is an important missing link that will be not only be a wise use of our limited resources, but help Portlanders keep their homes and avoid housing crises. So thank you.
Thank you. Good evening.
Hi, good evening, Mayor and Commissioners. My name is Joel Spector, and I'm here to ask you to fund the Portland Housing Bureau ad package. This would benefit Portland by including the fair housing funding to support services that Justin gave a brief description of, specifically the letter writing assistance, translation and interpretation services, and eviction court counseling for tenants. I've been a volunteer with the Community Alliance of Tenants for a little over a year, and I spend a lot of my time connecting tenants with information on the hotline. I've also volunteered with the Safe Housing Program, and from that experience, I have seen the most impact in the Karen community, people from southern and southeast regions of Burma. Because of the language barrier, they were unable to communicate about the pervasive mold issues in their building and were being systematically evicted for noncompliance. Since we recognized mold as an environmental hazard, we were able to have a building inspector review the building, and with the help of one Karen member who spoke a little English, we were able to write letters in their defense and submit documentation to the landlord. Fortunately, this had a positive outcome, and we're continuing to advocate for that community. I'm very proud of the work that CAT is doing to help tenants, but this is just one of many stories of where people could benefit from the letter writing, interpretation, and translation services. The expansion of the Portland Housing Bureau's ad package would have widespread impact on whole communities, and especially for the marginalized population. Please help CAT by funding these important services. Thank you.
Thank you.
I have a clarifying question. Are the green tags and the pink tags for the same cause?
That's correct.
Yes.
So for those, I can't see everybody's tags. If you're here to support this, could you please wave your hands?
Great. Thank
Wonderful. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
The next three numbers are 42, 56, and 90.
And then read the next three as well, please.
The next three will actually be members of the ZOMI community.
Oh, so this is all invited testimony?
No.
They're the community engagement liaisons from the ZOMI
right.
community.
Yes, the people that follow the podcast, right. Okay, go ahead.
No name. Please listen statement. Please listen very carefully. Northwest District is not secure going out from Cooch Park towards Forest Park, not passing Northwest 24th. I must continue to exercise self-defense, as I shall not be the one to go after. Please consistently send all units, all available, getting out of vehicles when arriving, pursuing on foot. Pop smoke, as those who know will know. Being a citizen resident, I am entitled to this country's document as well as others. Statement. Cascadia is not secure. Consistently send personnel. Pop smoke for those who know. Statement. Country's document. But when a long train of abuses and usurpations pursuing invariably the same object and vices designed to reduce them under absolute disposition, it is their right, it is a duty to throw off such government and to provide new guards for future security.
Thanks. Okay.
We'll now have testimony from members of the ZOMI community.
Oh, okay, thank you.
My name is Hao Kim. I came from North Carolina, Newman, small town.
I'm SB Lang, and I've been here in US for 4 years now. I'm very much enjoying. Thank you, majors. Thank you, commissioners, for caring for our ZOMI communities. Although we are very minors here, we are happy here. We work hard here. Our kids are very enjoying the school, so we are very happy for your leadings. Thank you so much.
My name is King Mang Zam, and I'm from the Zomi community. I'm representing the Zomi community to speak about our needs in the community and introduce you about the Zomi. The Zomi are the hills people from Burma. They are mainly from Burma, and we come here 5 years ago as a refugee because of the war and conflicts in Burma because of the military government and persecution, religious persecution, ethics persecution, and things like that. And when we arrive here, the Zomi are very welcome. We feel that very welcome, and Portland is one of the cities in the States that welcome immigrants and refugees and minority. And as mayors and all the commissioner, I really appreciate that I can come and give my testimony. What I like to most talk about is our community, most of them are refugees, and 3-4 years ago, the rent in the community were like around 500 for 2-bedroom apartment, but now it's over 700. So the rents are really went up. And most of our community members are limited income. So I like to ask to have your attention. In Portland, we need more affordable housing for low-income families. And then also we need more parks and recreation in our neighborhoods. That way our children will grow up and have a safety neighbors, and we, as you know, most of them come here in our old age, so our children are for our future. So we really hope that Portland will be able to raise our children. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
We very appreciate you coming tonight, and we welcome the Zomi to Portland, and we're glad that you've already gotten involved in the life of our community by coming here tonight and participating in the process. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
The next three numbers are 75, 57, and 80. And the three following are 48, 50, and 44.
And while they're coming up, I think we've been joined by another elected official. Yes, we have. Representative Lou Frederick is here. Welcome, sir. It's nice to have you with us. Good evening.
Can you hear me? Thank you. Good evening, Commissioner, Mayor Hales. My name is Arlene Kimura, and I live in East Portland. I want to thank you very much for some things. Fully funding EPAB, looking at restoring the community grants, and for the support of the Earl Boyle Early Development School. I also want to advocate for the East Portland Action Plan as a group that works to influence the outcome of works that your city bureau does. And we have prepared packets for you in which each of your bureau's strategic priorities are separated out, as well as the full EPAP strategic priorities for 2014-15. And I do want to thank you again for your support of our efforts, and to urge you to continue to support EPAP, because this isn't one of those, you are the whole village, and it takes all of us to raise the city, and all of us in East Portland don't always belong to neighborhood associations, and maybe are not living there, but they have ties to East Portland, and we've gotten so much participation that I think it's important that you allow us to continue our work. And we work with your bureaus. Your staff has been very good, and your bureau staff has been very good to work with. Thank you.
Thank you. Good evening.
My name is Beth Heinrich, and I'm the Director of Marketing and Public Relations at the Portland Art Museum. The museum operates based on a foundation of three things: art, access, and accountability. We present art of importance and quality through presentations of exhibitions from the finest public and private collections from around the world, as well as the objects in our own permanent collection. And we strive to make that art accessible for all citizens, both economically and intellectually. Nearly 1/3 of museum visitors enter free of charge, and most notably, all children 17 and under and all school tours enjoy the museum free every day that we're open. Our educational programs, both in the galleries and out in the community, make the art on display intellectually accessible and engage Portlanders around ideas, cultures, and creative thinking. And finally, we're committed to being accountable and transparent in our operations. As one of our largest operational funders, RAC supports these efforts to make art accessible in our community. I urge you to help RAC restore arts and culture programs that were cut last year, using RAC's existing contract language to do so. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks.
The next three numbers are 50, 48, and 44. And the ones following are 89, 79, and 43.
You can go ahead and get started while they come up. Thank you for coming.
And thanks for having me. So I'm Bob Bernstein, Southeast resident for 45 years, came to Portland in '69 from Brooklyn, New York. And Brooklyn has a lot of beautiful trees. Sorry, not your fault. So anyway, Brooklyn has a lot of nice trees, and grew up with sycamores, maples, catalpas. And when I first came to Portland, I was struck by all the big trees. I lived Hawthorne from '72 till about 6 years ago. And I used to take long walks around Ladd Circle, see lots of grosbeaks and things like that. It saddens me that so many of the big trees are being taken down, and with too much ease. It's my understanding that Title 11 was passed with a lot of good support by the citizenry, but yet it hasn't been fully funded or implemented. That concerns me. There's a lot to having trees. They provide stormwater help. They buffer sound. It's amazing how much they buffer sound. When the leaves are off, you can really tell the difference in the wintertime. They provide us with oxygen. They give other species homes and food and sustenance. They provide shade during the summers. They're good friends. As I've gotten older, I'm 68 now, as I've gotten older, I find a lot of comfort in things that will go beyond my life. And trees are one of those things. And so I'd really like to see those trees preserved, and it really does sadden me to see them come down, and then people put these little trees in that I call dink trees. You know, these little ornamentals that do nothing, absolutely nothing. You know, it's sort of like the English concept of a lawn run amok. So anyway, like that's what and I have a couple of seconds. I think Portland needs more than one noise abatement officer for the whole city.
Thank you. Good evening.
Good evening. My name is Elena Wilson, and I live at Trenton Terrace in North Portland in a senior complex. And I have called Kat to help me out on the hotline for senior abuse in the building. And I reported it at least like 150 times in 1 month. And I think I was targeted because chemicals were sprayed in my apartment. And I've been to the 3 hospitals, and I got carbon monoxide poisoning going out through my body because I took up for the elderly. And I also went to court, and it was thrown out because I didn't have a lawyer, and I couldn't afford one. But I'm not going to give up. I'm going to still fight for older people's rights because I don't think that's right. You know, and a lot of people are getting sick over there, and nobody's doing anything about it. And these chemicals are in this building. Nothing is being done. And I'm just asking for you guys to help, please. Thank you.
Thank you very much for coming. Thank you.
Thank you.
The next 3 numbers are 89, 79, and 43, followed by 86, 61, and 57.
Good evening.
Good evening, Mayor Hales and Commissioners. It seems like I was just here. As an arts advocate who has been engaged
What's
in
your name
many...
in the record, Stan?
My name is Stan Penkin. As an arts advocate who has been engaged in many aspects of arts and culture in our city, I want to stress how crucial it is to the strength and vitality of Portland that we maintain funding for the arts at the highest possible level. For many years, City Council has recognized the importance of the arts and has followed through with a strong commitment by funding RAC to the greatest extent possible. Portland is way behind other comparable cities in its levels of funding for the arts, thus hampering us from obtaining greater vibrancy and economic vitality that we could and should have. Even though the arts tax will help close some of the gap, it is not an excuse to reduce arts funding that the city has traditionally approved. Funding that will go towards providing greater access to underserved communities and expanding the Right Brain initiative that has such a positive impact on our children's growth, well-being, and creative spirit. I understand that every year brings its budget challenges and difficult choices have to be made. Arts and culture is sometimes erroneously looked upon as a luxury rather than something that is integral to all aspects of city life. Arts and culture speaks to the heart, soul, and spirit of the community. While the arts are a major driver of economic development, jobs, and tourism, it also fosters community, creativity, innovation, and pride. Think of what our city would be like without thriving museums, galleries, music, and theater. Think of all the creative people who work for and guide those institutions and all the energy and creativity they impart. Almost done. Think of the void in our kids' lives if the arts were not an essential ingredient of their education. Without all the riches the arts add to our community, we would be a barren wilderness lacking spirit and soul. We would be a city without identity. We can't allow that to happen. We must consider the arts to be equally as important as all our other endeavors as we move forward as a sustainable, unique, and flourishing city. Maintaining the highest levels of arts funding is essential to meeting our aspirations and vision as a city. Please do not let our city down. Thank you for your consideration.
Thank you. Thanks for all your volunteer service to the city, too. Good evening.
Good evening. My name is Daya Shakya. I'm the interpreter for Nepali language. I also work in the Lutheran Community Service. I'm here to show you with the t-shirt what we have been wearing, and then there are a lot of people back there also wearing a lot of, this kind of t-shirt. So that means they need lots of support for the CAT. So you know what is CAT is represents for. So because that's why we are here to ask some funding for Portland Housing Bureau ad package. So under this package, actually I have been volunteering for this CAT service for the last 4 years to the Bhutanese community. And one of the members from the CAT already mentioned that there is only one volunteer for, that is me, that I was volunteering for the community of that.
You're that guy, okay.
So I have been volunteering for the last 4 years, but the fair housing funding would help community by ensuring that the tenants' rights are respected by landlords and advocacy and supports an eviction court. So break the language barrier to improve tenant-landlord communication, support housing documentation with crucial letters, writing clinics, and empowering tenants' voices that have been unheard. So when I wanted to bring up one story about, because I see a lot of people live in that apartment, and then if something happens, they cannot express. They cannot express to the tenant, the landlord, and also for the manager, so they have to suffer that. And one of the family, what I found just a couple of weeks ago, all the family members were sick. There has to be something is going on in the family, so that's why they became so sick. So these kind of things will be addressed if we have more funding for the CAT, so that way we will serve the people who have a less opportunity to speak up. So that means the language barrier and the interpretation service are the most essential things to be provided by the city, that we will serve people in a very right way. So this is all I have to say. Thank you very much for listening.
Great, thank you. Thanks. Good evening.
Good evening. My name is Zach Aljofi, and I'm here to support Mounted Patrol Unit, Portland, City of Portland. So I came to Portland in 2006, and my first interaction with the Portland Police was when I met Mounted Patrol officers downtown. As I approached them, the officers and their horses, they slowed down because it was obvious that I was curious about the horses and about the mounted officers. And I've also seen other Portlanders and tourists express the same interest with the Mounted Patrol. During Cinco de Mayo, for example, on the waterfront, usually, many people stop to talk with the mounted officers, pet their horses, take pictures, and the Mounted Patrol unit provides an unmatched opportunity for the community to have friendly encounters with the Portland Police and to build rapport. I have also witnessed the Mounted Patrol unit in action during the Occupy Portland protests. The mounted officers controlled the protesters by walking alongside them as they protested. This ensured that the crowd did not gain access to private businesses along their path. In addition, I noticed that the protesters tended to give the horses and the mounted officers a respectful distance, which was not maintained for other officers on bicycles or foot. The Mounted Patrol unit has been part of Portland's culture since the 1880s. From their participations in parades to their inherent ability to prevent crime, the Mounted Patrol unit serves our city while contributing to our collective identity. Rather than making the Mounted Patrol unit part of Portland's past, we must all do our part to ensure that they are funded to protect and serve our future. Thank you.
Great, thank you very much. Thanks.
The next three numbers are 57, 61, and 86. And after this testimony, we'll have testimony from members of the Iraqi community.
Good evening. My name is Mark Bello. I'm a member of the Urban Forestry Commission. We met this morning and they asked me to come and give you our thanks for supporting the tree code. The thanks to the mayor's and the budget's office for providing for some funding, and a tiny, tiny little ask. And our ask is that you fully fund our proposal, which would be an additional single point of contact and a half full-time position for the tree inspector. I was a city employee for 46 years, and I actually was one of a multiple point of contact, so I just want to give you some very brief consideration points for that 1 versus 2 single point of contact folks. One of the problems with a single point of contact is that there is then the whole question of vacation time, sick time, other time. It's just about impossible for a single person to provide that single point of contact. A team of 2 can not only cover for each other, but they can problem solve. And very importantly, you can have a diversity of folks answering the phone, making the permits out and so forth. So it's a real opportunity to have a wide range. I tried actually this week to get information about our tree code and about Title 33, and I was unsuccessful. I am now on business day number 3 trying to get information. That's rather unfortunate when you have a crisis like someone is fighting with a neighbor or a tree is fighting with another tree. So for us to be effective and efficient, if we could just have that one more full-time position, I think we would be able to provide much better service and provide a level of service that would help this great new enterprise get off the ground in a very successful way.
Thanks for following your public service with volunteer service. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening.
Hello, my name is Marisa Danley. I'm here representing Cache, Oregon. Mayor Hale, City Commissioners, we are here to thank you for your impact that you we thank the City of Portland for its impact in assisting thousands of low and moderate income Oregonians to help save millions in paid preparer fees and receive millions in refunds. The critical funding that you have provided our organization in the amount of $75,000 has contributed significantly to our successes, which include allowing us to file 8,521 tax returns this year in the city, $10,627,219 in refunds were put into the hands of Portlanders. In addition, our clients were able to save millions of dollars in tax preparation fees, which are generally charged by paid preparers. This was an astounding $1,278,150 that was put back into the city of Portland. In addition, Cash Oregon staff were able to conduct intensive recruitment, training, and retention efforts, which I will now turn over to my colleague Luke to speak on that matter.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Luke Barrett. I've been involved with Cash Oregon for the last 5 years. And this year, in the last tax season, we've had 483 volunteers helping out with generating these numbers that Marissa's talking about. And I think that's a record high. And interestingly, among those 483 volunteers, 29% of those speak at least one additional language. So we're able to reach communities that aren't necessarily able to be reached by paid preparers. I have a list of 30 languages that are spoken by different volunteers.
29%, did you say?
29%. Yeah. So it's nearly a third of the volunteers that speak at least another language. And so, in my experience as a volunteer, I mean that's kind of diversity. And even just with absolute numbers being higher than they've ever been, but just increasing the amount of diversity and the number of people that we're able to reach has, I think, had an amazing impact to an already pretty amazing organization. So,
Luke, can I ask you one question?
Sure.
We have part of our legislative agenda is protecting the earned income tax credit. Is that the bulk of the source of the refunds that you work on?
I don't think it's the bulk.
Is it a large piece?
I can give you a number. It is actually $3,155,982. So roughly a third. Roughly a third, yes.
Yeah, that's a really compelling number too. I'm glad you asked that actually, because
Well, your testimony helps us because we'll make sure it stays in our legislative agenda.
that's right. Yeah, and then that number alone I think makes it worthwhile. But as a volunteer, like I said, it's just being a part of being involved with so many interesting people and so many interesting parts of the communities makes it really worthwhile for me. And then seeing the numbers pay off really, I think, makes it worthwhile for the city as well. So thank you to the commissioners. Thank you, Mayor Hales.
Great, thank you. Well, that's an impressive number of volunteers doing a lot of good work, so thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Next, we'll be receiving testimony from members of the Iraqi community.
Okay, great. Come on up, please. Good evening and welcome.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Lubna Al-Kattan. I'm Iraqi refugee. I worked in my country as an educational counselor. I arrived to Portland on August 2012. The refugees and immigrant communities have been pursuing a dream of establishing a multicultural center. This center would be a place to combine healing, learning, and community organizing. The refugees come from war zones and have traumas and then face a culture shock. Here is in America. So this center can facilitate building a healthy individual and community identity and community building. It would promote integration through mutual process of learning the culture between many streams and new commerce. And also provides opportunities for social and economic improvement of refugees and immigrants. Thank you for giving me these opportunities to talk, and thank you for your listening.
Thank you. Thanks very much. Good evening.
Good evening. My name is Mofak Al-Kattan. I'm Iraqi refugee. I came in 2012, August. I'm a civil engineer. I worked.
There you go.
Sorry.
There you go. Just get a little closer. There you are.
I worked to serve in UNICEF for almost 13 years, and I came here from Jordan to there are qualified doctors, engineers, English teachers, technicians among Iraqi refugees. If they are looking for jobs, of course, if they are given some orientation, practices for a certain of time, they could add to the community their skills, enrich Portland with their culture, and earning some money for their families. Also, this process can be duplicated for the unskilled laborers, and they have opportunities in the field of green jobs, as an example. And this also needs to set of quota to employ refugees. I understood that New York City has offered 10 years tax exemption to anybody who invests in New York. I don't know if Portland has the same thing here. If so, Iraqi investors, as I understood, they are willing to come and invest here. This is a good chance that Iraqis here can play a role between the two communities, and also there will be a new job in the market. Thank you for listening.
Thank you.
Good evening. I'm Abdel Hadi Ben Zuraiq. I working in Iraq as English teacher for high school, and then I became a team leader for American organization. Today, I came here for first of all to thank you for this opportunity, and then to discuss the Iraqi refugee situation dealing with housing. When the refugee come here, they faced the problem or the difficulties of housing. How? For two reasons. The first reason is they have no credit history about housing, so the owners or the landlord sometimes put this condition and not let them stay or settle in this. Besides that, they have low income and they can't live in very expensive or very big houses or apartments. So they are suffering, and as you know, the refugees who came from Iraq not came from camps, they came from cities, from houses, from good life there, not from refugees and suffering from the. So they should, or they hope to find better than they were. But unfortunately, they can't find this. So we have a suggestion from the Iraqi society community to support by the city council to grant us or give us a land, a piece of land, and we have a cooperation community or society to cooperate together and to make housing for the Iraqi refugees. And thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much for that suggestion. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
The next three numbers are 66, 61, 45, and then following those three are 87, 71, and 68.
See some of them coming, but might want to call a couple more numbers.
Number 9 and number 36.
If we call too many numbers and we're the three people up front, just have a seat in one of those empty seats and we'll get you in the next group. So here comes someone. That's okay.
Hello, my name is Robert Lowe, and fair housing would really help our community by ensuring that tenants' rights are respected by landlords, advocacy and support at eviction courts. It would break the language barriers to improve tenant-landlord communications. It would support housing documentation with crucial letter-writing clinics empowering tenants' voices that have gone unheard. Now, personally, I'll keep this short. I'm here to ask you to find that the Portland Housing Bureau, the ad package be added. This would benefit our community with, like I said, the letter writing assistance, the translation, interpretations, and especially the eviction court counseling with tenants. I was referred a few years ago to CAT by a friend, and have had to use their hotline on several occasions due to conflicts with landlords. I didn't know I had rights, and because of my age and disability, I felt that I was discriminated against. People get used to bad things and poor treatment, and unfortunately, as a society, it is perpetuated by redlining in neighborhoods, marginalizing individuals who benefit from social services. Being satisfied with your housing does not equate to a roof over your head. People need a voice to let society know what they are going through and not feel alone. Despite the larger societal issues of racism and discrimination, my experience with CAT has made me feel supported and empowered. Because these issues are larger than CAT, fair and equal housing is one way to address equality. Currently, CAT services are limited in what they can do, and this ad package would have the greatest impact and help channel those voices. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Good evening.
Good evening, Mayor, Commissioners. My name is Chris Day, and I'm coming to you tonight from Friends of Trees. I'm also a Policy Chair Committee member of the Urban Forestry Commission. Again, like Mark had shared, we're delighted to hear that you have added funding for Title 11 into this year's fiscal budget. Friends of Trees, as many of you know, is involved in planting trees, building community in Portland through planting of trees. This year, we crossed the 50,000 tree threshold here in the urban areas of Portland. Title 11 would go very far toward protecting these young trees and seeing them grow to mature size. We heard earlier the value of large trees, and these little trees, they'll grow into big trees someday. I'd just like to stress again, Mark's point, having additional folks to help channel people who are looking for permits or information regarding trees in this city. That's going to really streamline and help to bring the citizens of Portland on board with protecting trees on their own, knowing the value and doing the right thing because they know it's the right thing. So thanks again, and please do see that Title 11 is funded to its full capacity as currently requested, which is, again, reduced from an earlier request, if you'll recall, from December. Last but not least, please honor the public process that went into developing Title 11. 3 years, hundreds of thousands of public money, public dollars went into this from the city staff side, as well as countless hours by key stakeholders throughout the community. Thank you so much.
Great. Thank you for all your volunteer service as well. Thank you. Good evening.
Hi, I'm Brooklyn from MLC Metropolitan Learning Center, and we just lost our playground. And this is really major since all the kids will now have to play on the top where the cars park, and that's kind of dangerous since because it's common for cars to leave at lunch, and a kid might get hit by a car, and all those bad things. So I came down here to make sure you guys heard. So yeah, and they're just gonna replace it with the asphalt. So yeah, and I love my playground. All my friends love the playground, and we have played on it since we are like little kids, and we want the little kids now to have that experience until like 6th grade when we can go off campus. And I want the kids of the future, but now we have an issue, no playground. So yeah.
Great. Thank you. Thanks very much. Good job. Okay.
The next three numbers are 87, 71, and 68. And then after that, 9, 36, and 20. Following that, we'll have testimony from the Pacific Islander Community Panel.
Anyone coming up on those numbers that she called? Maybe not. So is our panel ready? you want to come up? Sure. Bring up another chair if you need. Just grab one and slide it up if you want.
Mr. Mayor and the Commission, my name is Tofua Iongi. I am here to represent our Tongan community from the South Pacific Island. And we are so grateful to be here. Such a meeting as this. Our community have been here over 40 years. And I think this is our very first time to meet you and get acquainted with you. Our reason why I'm here today is to just to ask an opportunity for our workers to work with the city of Portland. Our main career is doing construction works, and we have the skills of doing all kinds of concrete work, walls, driveway, footing and foundation. But we've been doing all these years with the homeowners. And sometimes we don't have job from them, and then we start knocking at the doors, asking for doing yard works, cleaning lawns and stuff, hauling trash. But we are here to ask to see if we can have an opportunity to do business with the city of Portland, and also to show us the way, how to get in, and also where to receive the advertisements of advertising the city works. And I believe that our people will be secure financially in the future. As our children and grandchildren, we have received some recognitions from different schools that our students have been doing so well in high school, but they are very low percentage in going to college. And I believe it's a matter of financing, because I think what our efforts could afford, which is to send the kids to high school and also to provide the family needs, in the house and apartment and stuff. But if we have such opportunity like this, that we can come in and do business with the city, we believe that our financial will be much, much better. Thank you very much.
Thank you. We will make sure we follow up with you. We've been creating some programs at the city to try to make those kinds of contracting opportunities more available to our different communities in the city, and particularly for smaller businesses. So we will follow up with you and make sure that you have that information.
I appreciate it very much.
Thank you. Good evening.
Good evening. My name is Momuta Kailea from the Tongan community as well. First and foremost, we thank you, Mr. Mayor and Commissioner, for the opportunity to give this support on behalf of our Tongan community. There is a service that we wanted to reinforce, hopefully that it's a concern for our non-English speaking, and whoever doesn't understand how to write or speak English. We would like to have our our emergency services and languages understood by our families. Like if they call up our elderly people, when they call, they don't speak English as well. So if we can have somebody to be there, understand our language, and so whatever call they make, any emergency they calling for, at least they are understand by the emergency services people. Secondly is the Tongan community would like to have informations and forms to be printed in our language. We much appreciate it. That's for our non-Tongan, non-English speaking too as well. Is like when they go to emergency rooms, you know, like or to any clinics or any, at least they know what, you know, how to fill out the forms and all that. There is thirdly is we would like to, the Tongan Commission would like to be informed in our language if any natural disasters happening occur. We would like to, like I said, they would love to understand what, you know, and then to be warned what's going to happen. And fourthly, we would like to have information written, like a guidance for our community, to distribute to our community. Like if any fire, any emergency happening, they know exactly what to do. You know, will be appreciated or have all that. Last but not the least, our town community would like to have somebody from emergency service to come and train our people how to deal with natural disasters and how, you know, how to escape and how to be survived when natural disasters happening occur. And by having all these information in our language, will give us kids that we understand how to speak and write English, comfort that all we taken care of, and our and a time will save times and save lives as well. Once again, our town community appreciate the opportunity and all your supports to our Tongan community. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Ms. Kailea, I'd like to talk to you after you're done testifying and about contacting 911 and the Office of Emergency Management, because those are my bureaus. So don't leave until I run down to talk to you.
Sure. Mayor
Please.
Hales, I just checked my phone, and I just want to say that Tongan apparently is a Polynesian language and a first cousin of Hawaiian, Samoan, and Tahitian. Is that correct? So are those all related languages?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, we have a substantial Tongan community here in the city, so thank you. Appreciate it. Good evening.
Hello and Raranim, as we say in our native tongue. Mayor Hales and member of the council, it is an honor to be here with you today, and I thank you for giving us this opportunity. My name is Roger Walter, and I come from Chuuk State in the Federated States of Micronesia. I am very grateful to be living in Portland for these past few years. But at the same time, our families face some challenges, such as with the police and the legal system. We would like to respectfully ask that the police be sensitive and understanding to those of us who are still trying to adapt to the culture here. For example, some of our elders were wrongly accused by police for apologizing. But apologizing in our culture is not to admit guilt, but it is a way of being respectful to people in authority. The elder was also not giving the police direct eye contact, but in our culture, looking a person in the eye is a sign of challenge. Of course, at times our people do commit crimes and deserve the proper punishment, but often it is a misunderstanding of our cultures. We would like to see more cultural training and awareness so that this is more understanding on both sides. Also, access to these law enforcement jobs by our community members would really help address these cultural barriers. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Appreciate your testimony. I'm the police commissioner. I would like to follow up with you as well. Actually, this proposed budget contains only a single new position in the police bureau, but it is to deal with issues of equity and sensitivity to cultural communities in our city. So that's why we added that additional position in the bureau, is for training and assisting our officers in understanding the diversity of the city. So appreciate you raising that issue, but I also want to follow up with you. I know that East Precinct in particular has been trying to train their officers to deal with some of the issues you raised about when you encounter a citizen, are you hearing them
Yes.
correctly? And you've stated that very well tonight. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Joe Enlet. Thank you for this opportunity. I work at the Immigrant and Refugee Community Organization as a community health worker and also a staff for the Diversity and Civic Leadership Program. We thank you so much for your support of this program. And along with my brothers and sister, there is also a disparity in civic engagement among the Pacific Islanders. Many of these meetings and boards doesn't have any Pacific Islander voice, and I think the DCL program is a strategic program to be able to address that disparity in civic engagement. So through the DCL program, we've been able to research and address that disparity by training some of our community leaders through the API Community Leader Institute. Some of those leaders have been able to organize the very first Micronesian Legislative Day down in Salem this year. So I thought that was a really neat thing directly related to the DCL program, and a victory for us Micronesians to have a voice in civic engagement. Also, we've just completed some of our emergency preparedness training, which they also mentioned, where we brought in leaders from our communities, the immigrant communities, including the Pacific Islander communities, and we're able to train them as well in being able to be prepared for emergency natural disasters and the like. And again, we're really thankful for this growing engagement of Pacific Islanders. In Multnomah County, we are the fastest growing immigrant group at 68%. So increasingly we are present here, and having those kinds of programs like DCL available to us really helps us integrate more into the communities and building a more equitable society for all of us Portlanders. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks very much for coming.
The next three numbers are 32, 10, and 5. And after that, we have 40, 8, and 96. Again, that's 32, 10, and 5, 40, 8, and 96.
Good evening. How are you?
Hi.
Why don't
I'm
you
number
go ahead and
32.
get started while they're getting settled?
Okay, sure. I'm going to make it quick. I'm number 32. My name is Rebecca Casanova, and I'm your neighbor from Mount Tabor. And I just wanted to thank you so much for fully funding the tree code. It's really important to us on a number of levels. One of the key reasons why I really wanted to offer my support for the full funding of the tree code is I have a master's in public health, and I also am a mental health professional. And I kind of see personally in my work the impact, the salutary benefits of the tree canopy to the people with whom I work. It makes a huge difference, and there's a lot of research out there that supports how much having a really robust tree canopy can actually promote mental health, and it also promotes physical health. It helps people prevent chronic disease. When the tree canopy decreases, you do see an increase in chronic diseases, cardiovascular diseases, and there's also some really interesting research that has actually come out of Portland looking at an association between an increase in the tree canopy or a greater number of trees and a lower incidence of infant mortality. So there are a lot of real reasons to support this. And the other The other thing I wanted to just ask the City Council for was to also fully fund the positions that we've talked about, because as a private citizen and as also somebody who's really supportive of this measure, we really do need processes that can help private citizens protect our trees and also increase the tree canopy in Portland. So thank you so much again for fully funding the tree code, and please consider fully funding those positions, because I feel like it's one of the best ways that we can really maintain what we have and to expand it.
Thank you very much. Good evening. You brought help with you, I see.
Yeah, they're up past their bedtime, so they were all sharing their numbers with me. So this is number 10. And my name is Tanya March, and I have with me a number of Metropolitan Learning Center students, and I think maybe 1 or 2 future kindergartners. And I want to thank everybody for knowing that we're deeply concerned about what's going on at Cooch Park, the loss of a playground with a possible 2 years of no playground. I know KCLC serves 200 students. That's a 501c3 that serves 4 elementary schools, public schools in the neighborhood, in addition to the 443 students at Metropolitan Learning Center, in addition to the Home Forward Towers and domestic violence shelter near there. This is a really, really utilized park, and we need some funds to help us with the process of getting a new playground. And I also was going to ask tonight, my ask was simple, that we have a van on wheels with toys and apparatus coming on Wednesdays, and I was hoping that as part of Summer Free for All, we could maybe have that 5 days a week for the community, since we are limited on resources. I know that's a van that comes in on wheels. I was inspired by an image of a van that we fought for in 1969 in an article that Lou Frederick wrote recently, or helped write. I know he's here, and I want to thank him for that. And I'd love it if these children got to have a chance to say their names.
Sure. Welcome. Hi, kids. Tell us who you are.
My name is Amiri.
Mary.
I'm Marcel.
Marcel.
I'm Berkeley. I'm Sandra.
Hi.
I'm Lucy.
Hi, Lucy.
I'm Jaya.
You don't have to. Well, we're glad you're here too, and thanks, kids, for coming. We appreciate you being here tonight. Thanks.
The next numbers are 83, 1, and 40.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Hi, my name is Cristina Palacios, and I am the community organizer with the Community Alliance of Tenants. I'm here as a translator today to help Jackie to communicate with you, but at the same time, this is a great example of why we need the fair housing packet to pass. Many renters that I work with speak multiple languages. In the last 2 years, I've been lucky to be able to work with many tenants that speak up to 12 languages in only one building. So the need for interpretation services so tenants can know their rights and responsibility is very needed. And I'm here to ask you to add the fair housing packet and, again, to help tenants. So please consider passing the fair housing packet and add more city inspectors so more tenants can have access to safe housing.
Thank you.
Buenas tardes, mi nombre es Jacqueline Luna y soy miembro comunitario de la ciudad de Portland.
Good afternoon, my name is Jackie and I'm a member in the city of Portland.
Estoy aquí para pedir que pasen el paquete de vivienda justa para la organización CAT porque yo he sido voluntaria de esta organización y me he dado cuenta de la necesidad que hay en la comunidad de poder comunicarse.
I'm here to ask you to pass the fair housing packet and give funds to the Community Alliance of Tenants so they can serve more tenants. I've been a volunteer there for over 4 years, and I know that this service is very needed in the community.
Si ustedes apoyan acá, vamos a poder enseñar a más personas cómo pedir sus reparaciones y también cómo, si alguna vez sufren de desalojo, también poder ejercer sus derechos.
If you support the fair housing packet, we're going to be able to help renters to write letters, and we're going to be able to help more tenants to assert their rights.
Muchas personas no saben qué hacer cuando sufren de desalojo y la organización CAD es un apoyo muy importante para nuestra comunidad en estas situaciones.
Many renters do not know how to advocate for themselves when they get an eviction notice. And this organization helps a lot of people to avoid evictions by giving them the information that they need to prevent eviction.
Muchos apartamentos de bajos ingresos son los que sufren más necesidades y no nada más es la comunidad latina la que sufre de este poder comunicarse bien con los renteros, sino hay otros idiomas en los que están necesitados.
There is many need out there. Not only the Hispanic community needs the service of interpretation to be able to communicate with the landlord. If we are able to communicate with the landlord and know our rights, we are able to help ourselves better.
Yo también rento en unos apartamentos y veo la necesidad de este servicio de nuestra organización CAT. Entonces les pido por favor que pasen este paquete que es bien necesario para nosotros.
I'm myself a renter, and I know firsthand the necessity for being able to have the help that is being asked on the fair housing packet. So please support the fair housing packet and give funds to CAT to be able to help more people. Thank you.
Muchas gracias. Buenas noches.
Thank you very much. Good evening.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and Council. My name is Timothy Horn. I'm also a parent at MLC. I obviously had a few people with me. I wanted to follow up with my fellow parent, Chani March's comments that this play structure, specifically Cooch Park, serves several hundred children every day. It's not just the school, it's the local community, it's the city at large. MLC serves families across the city, it's not just the local neighborhood. When the circumstances came that the structure was condemned and dismantled, there was no plan or budget in place to replace it. We've met with Commissioner Fritz, the Neighborhood Association, and the PTSA. We are learning about the price tag associated with it. It's very large. It's a very large amount for both parents and local communities to try to come together and raise in a short amount of time. But we definitely feel there is a level of urgency here in the fact that it's a year-round structure, it's a year-round use, and as you can tell, there is also a lot of emotion and sentiment attached with it. And if I can offer my personal ask, not being a native Portlander, but definitely appreciating the beauty of this part of the world, which is very unique, and to a city that values that, to please consider increasing your funding for Portland Parks and Rec so that not just students and families in the Northwest neighborhood can appreciate good, clean, safe places to play, but the whole city can enjoy that, and those who come to visit this city can find not just that, but a place to live. So, thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you all.
Quite a team.
Good
evening, Mayor and City Councilors. It's always a hard act to follow.
It is a hard act to follow.
My name is Scott Fogarty. I'm Executive Director with Friends of Trees, and it's just really wonderful to be here tonight and listen to the testimony of others. I feel like I've been around the world, and it really is a testament to the community that we have here. And I'm here on behalf of Friends of Trees to advocate for full funding for Title 11, the tree code. I was one of the stakeholders who sat on those committees for 2+ years running, have testified a number of times in support of this. I feel like the process would be honored by full funding. We had stakeholders from all different walks of life wrangling over a code that was in 11 different places at the time and was very confusing for people, folks who are here today, to know whether it was okay to take a tree down, or if a tree did come down, or it was hazardous, who to call, and what kind of response there would be to those calls. We also saw a lot of children up here, and we heard somebody talk about big old trees and young trees. Well, those young trees that are going in are in behalf of those children who we saw here today. And we need to ensure that they thrive and are healthy over time so that we can continue to have a healthy urban forest to provide those benefits that we also heard here tonight, environmental benefits like stormwater reduction, oxygen pollution, oxygen production, CO2 sequestration, et cetera, but also health issues, human health issues pertaining to respiratory issues, birth weights, increased birth weights, we heard that here tonight, as well as mental health issues. So on behalf of Friends of Trees, I appreciate the funding that is in your budget now, Mayor, and I encourage full funding as requested for this Title 11. A lot of time has been and energy has been expended in this, and it will benefit the city for years to come. So thank you again for the time and the opportunity.
Thanks, Scott. Thanks
Got a
for-
number of us were hoping to be at your fundraiser on Wednesday. Our budget hearing went to about
1:30.
1:30.
Yeah,
So,
sorry about that.
Per usual, it was a fun event,
The guy in
and we
charge
missed you,
didn't
but
run
we
an-
talked about you, so.
The guy in charge didn't run an efficient enough meeting, apparently.
Well, this time, well, I just wanted to add to that, I made a sort of a joke that you were talking about the budget and the tree code, so I'm glad to be here tonight to follow up on that, so thanks again, I appreciate it.
Scott?
Oh, yes.
I have to
sorry.
say, I'm surprised to hear you refer to yourself as a stakeholder, because I kind of thought that in the tree community, stakes were murder.
Well, as you know, Commissioner Novick, we actually do put up stakes on either side of the tree to, again, it's for tree health, so people don't mow over them or open their doors and knock them down or, vandalize them. But I appreciate your comment.
Thanks for all your service, Scott.
Thank you very
and for
much.
the great work your volunteers and staff do to be a partner for the city. Thank you.
Thank you, City. Appreciate it.
Next, we have number 47. And after that, we'll have our panel from the West and Central African community.
Like number
47.
47 may be making its way down, but we could take a couple other numbers maybe and then come back to the panel after that.
32 and 5.
Why don't you keep
8
going?
or 96.
I think some people may be waiving their testimony since they've heard others do it.
37,
Come on up.
60.
Did we call your number? Please, come on up. Thanks for waiting and come on up. Good evening.
Good evening. How you doing?
Good.
All right, let me put my glasses on. My name is Lionel, and I'm here to ask you to fund the Housing Bureau ad package. I've been a volunteer for 8 years, and I've been on the board for going on, a year. Fair housing funding would help our community by ensuring the tenants' rights are respected by landlords, advocacy, and support at eviction courts. Break language barriers to improve the tenant-landlord communication, support housing documentation, crucial letter writing clinics, and empowering the tenant voices that have gone unheard. I'm a volunteer and a member of Community Alliance of Tenants, better known as Rental Rights. How they helped me is that I used to live in an apartment complex on Denver and Kilpatrick in North Portland, downtown Kenton. Well, I had the manager, he wouldn't fix anything, he allowed drug addicts and drug dealers to live there. Well, what happened in the community, it just didn't affect the apartment building, it affects the whole community, because when you have those type of situations with owners and managers, well, it flows to other apartments. Well, I called Community Alliance of Tenants, and I threatened the landlord that we'll take you down with a nuisance in your apartment building. I cleaned up that apartment building and helped clean up the community. Right now, downtown Kenton has a library. Doesn't look like it used to look 9 years ago. But like I said, when you have apartment buildings and the managers that allow dilapidated apartments, and they also allow drugs, addicts, and everything, because they don't care, and no one knows where to go without renters' rights. You'd have the city just up and just going crazy. But we're here, we've helped people. And by we helping people, we still help communities. So I'd just like you to fund this and keep it going.
Right.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thanks. Thank you. Good evening.
Good evening. I'm Jeannie Scholl, and I'm here to speak on behalf of the Mounted Patrol, which I have addressed you by letter prior, and I want to thank Commissioner Fritz and Commissioner Novak for answering my letter. That was very much appreciated.
Yeah.
I am a Portland resident. I've been working downtown for 18 years, and I mean downtown. And I have seen the positive effects that the horses have on the community. Before I go ahead, though, I want to say that it's overwhelming to me tonight to see all the demands and requests that the City Council receives for city assistance, and also rewarding to see how many volunteers contribute to the well-being of our community. That's extremely rewarding. So as one of the prior speakers said, the Mounted Patrol has been around for over 100 years here, sometimes more actively than others, but it has always been a source of support and assistance to the police department. I think that while we need many, many physical things and financial assistance, we also need to pay attention to the aesthetic and emotional elements which also contribute to our well-being, as in the request that the Portland Art Museum made. Not only is art important, I think that nature is important. I think that in an urban city like this, the presence of animals, big animals, is very positive, especially for a lot of the street children that I've seen, whose fear is somewhat alleviated by the presence of the horse. And they go up and they talk to the horse, they talk to the Mounted Patrol, and their fears and their anxieties are often alleviated. It's a wonderful opportunity that many of these people never, ever have to pat a horse. So I just wanted to say that I hope that you reconsider the funding for this important program. I consider it important. And I think that a lot of people do. I know that you've taken surveys and polls and that you found that a lot of people say that's not important. But I also believe that the people who object the most are usually the loudest voice. The people who are okay with it really don't protest too much. So thank you for this opportunity, and I hope you will consider it. I think it's a very positive element for our city.
Great. Thank you very much. So before we move on, I know we've got a very large number of off-duty firefighters up here. And did Alan Firstweiler sign up to speak? There he is. Okay, so let's hear from the Portland Firefighters Association, because at some point these guys, these men and women need to get back to their shift. So we appreciate you being here tonight, and we don't want to hold up your works any longer.
Thank you. Good evening, Mayor, members of the council. For the record, Alan Firstweiler, I'm president of the Portland Firefighters Association. Grateful to be here tonight with almost 100 firefighters and their families here tonight, and other folks of the community who care deeply about the safety of our neighborhoods. Take a moment and introduce a couple people behind me, Abby and Teresa, and I don't believe Bola's here. Right here, these are two of the people that were affected by the 5th alarm fire on the MLK. Just moved here, and within a couple months had their apartments. We actually did a fundraiser to help support them to get a couple months of rental assistance to help them get on their feet. So unfortunately, their numbers weren't called, but I just wanted to recognize them for being here tonight. I'm here tonight to advocate for changes in your proposed budget that would keep our neighborhoods safe and demonstrate to the city that public safety is a priority. Portland Fire and Rescue has cut over 58 positions since the 2008 and 2009 budget. Thankfully, we secured a federal grant known as the SAFER grant last year, which provided funding for 26 of those positions that were slated for elimination. Portland Firefighter Association worked with the fire chief and members of City Hall to secure this federal funding so we could keep our promise to communities across the city that if there's an emergency such as a 5th alarm fire, medical emergency, cardiac arrest, or the 6 arson fires that happened in North Portland within 3 hours of 2 weeks ago last Saturday night, that we will be there for them. As you know, the federal funding expires in December of 2015, and the proposed city budget does not include enough funding to ensure those neighborhoods are safe. We are requesting that the city secures funding to replace the federal grant before it expires. I believe that the proposed $4.5 million in ongoing funding and the available $4.6 million in one-time funding would support 13 out of those 26 positions. Further, the union would support that if we got $1.3 million in ongoing funding, that we would offer that back immediately in one-time funding, and so you could still have all the priorities that you put forward still funded this year. It would just switch them from one-time to permanent funding. We already have the fire stations in Kenton and Park Rose that staffing was reduced in half by last year, and the response in those areas has decreased. We used to be available for 911 calls 96% of the time, and now we're down to 86% response reliability. The mayor's made it very clear that we're not closing fire station and we're not laying off firefighters no matter what happens with this grant, and I appreciate that. That leaves only the stations like Station 4, 25, and the St. John's. There are 7 of them that have both an engine and a truck available. And so that means those communities would have to have the reduced staffing if we don't meet those 26 safer positions. Your decisions on the public safety budgeting will have real impacts on neighborhoods throughout the city. And as it stands, that impact will have fewer staff to respond to emergencies in your neighborhood. We want to serve everyone in our communities in their time of need and look forward to working on this issue with the council. So thank you for allowing me to address tonight, and thank you for everybody to being patient tonight. Thank you for coming.
Thank you all for being here, and thank you, Alan, you for being great advocates for both the safety of the community and for our workforce. You know that pledge is real, that we will not lay off firefighters. We will figure this out. We also are concerned about the safety of our workforce, so you might spend a minute talking about the safety chief position that was proposed as well. I know the fire chief is still very interested in that question.
Yeah, absolutely. The safety chief position, we're the largest fire district by far in the city, or in the state of Oregon, 700 employees, where we also do not have a safety chief. And so that does everything from implying OSHA compliance to doing everything like making sure our masts don't melt in a fire, and that's one of the biggest significant things that they've done in the past couple of years. And we actually led a national trend by being able to go, and we had 2 firefighters where their masks started to melt, and we reported it to the national standards. They were able to take care of it and actually making a new type of mask based upon that work. And that safety chief does everything they can, from reducing cancer, injuries, everything. And the amount of it, I can tell you, reduces the amount of disability by far. And so that is a tenfold. If you pay that person X amount of dollars, you're going to get $10 in return by having that position. So obviously the safety chief is very important to our organization, as is the safer grant positions.
Thank you very much. Questions for Alan? Comments?
Thank you.
Alan, I just wanted to say that I appreciate the fact that you and Governor Kitzhaber go around personally saving lives all over the place.
It was a joint effort, and I was honored to be able to take over for the doctor, and definitely something you don't see every day. So it was
a successful effort. Well done.
Absolutely.
Well
So,
done.
thank
Thank you
you.
for being here. It's also nice to have these 2 new residents of Portland who got such a terrible start in moving to our community. I think both Commissioner Saltzman and I got to meet these young women the morning of that fire, and sorry you had such a rude welcome to our city, and we hope nothing that dramatic happens in all of your remaining years here, however many they may be. Thanks for coming tonight. Thank you. Thank you all. Thanks very much.
Next, we have members of the West and Central African community.
Good evening. Come on up. Good evening.
Good evening, Mayor and Commissioners. My name is Jerome Adibonu, and I'm a community organizer activist in West Africa community in Portland, Kaklamas, and Beaverton. So today, I'm going to talk about emergency matter in our community. So I have talked to families and friends, and they have told me that they are having emergency issue in their house. And today, we have decided to explain what we was having in that community as a leadership. So, and I have my wife, he's new in Poland and she doesn't speak English. And she got a job last November, and I showed her how to get a mask and bus to her work. And one day, she missed her bus, and she doesn't know how to get to her job. And she called me, and I'm far away, and I can come to help her. And she called 911. As we know, as New Poland, when you came as a refugee and you don't speak English, the first number that you know as emergency is 911. And she called the number, and she doesn't speak English. and the dispatcher told her to wait that somebody is going to come to help her. She waited there for 2 hours. No one has come, and she missed her job that day. And today, we was asking City Council to reconsider that emergency matter in our community and help us in emergency issue to have our people who speak our languages when it's come to those emergency issue in time matter. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, Commissioners, my name is Masan Alino Desu. I'm here as a member of Africa House Community Leader Program and board member of Togo community in Oregon. Fair access to city job and city business is a critical need in our communities. I respectfully ask the City Council to give us the chance to work with the city government. We are bringing a lot of social capital and unique experiences that will make the city of Portland a more diverse and richer workplace. We ask the City Council to recognize our foreign experiences and credentials as valid to meet the employment criteria. We ask the City Council to create paid and unpaid internship positions and ask each bureau to recruit at least one intern from our African communities every year. Through the internship, people will gain experience working for the city and increase their chance to the job opportunities. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Good evening.
Good evening, Mayor and Commissioners. My name is Eder Mutara. I'm here as a member of Africa House Youth Leadership Program. My testimony is based...
Oh, there we go. Sorry about that.
My testimony is based on low-income housing, and this is the most priorities amount our needs in African communities. I know a high school student who has 2 siblings and raised only by their mother because their dad died, passed away before they moved here in the United States. And when the mother lost his job, she had their kids to go live with their friends. And she had herself go live with her friends because they didn't have money to pay for rent. We asked the city to consider housing crisis as a human rights issue. As newcomer, immigrant, and refugee faces unique challenges that makes more difficult for them to participate in competitive and market approach housing. Our community have language difficulties, low incomes, and different culture experience. Therefore, we ask the City of Portland to target our communities in the low incomes housing programs and help keep children with their parents together, and also keep children in schools near their communities. When family lives together, they help their kids to succeed. And when those kids succeed, City of Portland will more be successful. Thank you so much for giving these opportunities.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Kofi, how are you?
Thank you. My name is Kofi Desu. I'm here as a member of Africa House Community Advocacy Council, and also as president of Togo Corps, which is a based community organization called Togo Community in Oregon. Relationship-based community policing is important to us. And I'm here on behalf of my community to ask the city to provide funding for the new position that the Portland Police is creating, because we learned that that position is going to help the city, the Portland Police, to have better relationship with communities, because the position is going to focus on equity. So, our African communities hold some values, such as the respect of elders, the respect of authorities. And we expect the police to show our children, especially our children, that those good examples, because we believe that the police is there to work for the community, and the police, should learn from parents and communities how to respect those values so that they can support the communities. And we believe that that position will help the police to work more closely with our communities so we can understand each other and support the safety values that we all share. So we are here to ask the City Council to support that position, because we believe that we can work more closely with the police. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks very much. Appreciate all of you coming. Thank you.
The next three numbers are 37, 65, and 95.
We've seen some of you children here before.
I think they like these.
Yeah, make quite the backdrop.
Yeah. Hi, my name is Elise Eden, and thank you for the opportunity to speak before you tonight. I'm also a parent at Metropolitan Learning Center in Northwest Portland with 3 children there and a bunch of other lovely children friends. And we were just shocked that our beloved play structure was taken down rather suddenly, and we understand that Parks and Rec doesn't have money and is sorry about that. It's a terrible state of affairs that we're short money in Parks and Rec. And yet, we still have children and we still have a school, and the kids need to play, and we need somewhere for those children to play. And it's not just our school. This park is used by the city, by people that live around there. It's also used by a thriving after-school program called KCLC. They have kids from Chapman and Emerson. And there's also a shelter across the street at William Temple House and a Jewish synagogue, Beth Israel preschool, that also use this beloved playground. So our asks are some money or some sort of plan to come up with a structure sooner, hopefully, than 2 or 3 years. And in the meantime, we really need more green space for the kids to play. If we could move the dog park over, perhaps we could have soccer, baseball, just a green lawn for kids to run and play with balls. We're kind of feeling desperate, but we're very happy to see rocks delivered today, and so at least it won't just be bark chips. I've lived in Portland for over 25 years. I support Portland Parks and Rec. I voted for every bond that Portland Parks and Rec have ever had, and I'm a huge supporter. And my kids take gymnastics. We enjoy the parks, and I'm a dog owner. I love dogs. I love parks. But I hope that that tonight you can show us your values and value children and our future, and help us, please. And I think my daughters want to say something super quick.
Oh, sure.
Just a minute. Let me hop up and then you can get in.
I just wanted to say the playground's really special to us, and I hope we can build something close to the one we had.
Thank you.
Hello, and I would also like to say that every single year a new group of kindergartners will come to our school and maybe go through it K through 12, because it is a K through 12 school, and it's going to be really hard if they come and there isn't a play structure or a playground to play on. And there is like a small metal structure out in the front,
But otherwise, there's like the dog park and the blacktop, and that might not be quite as safe. And I'd also like to say that lots of other people and kids love our playground too, so it'd be great. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you all for coming tonight. At least we are going to have a community meeting to look at alternatives for the use of the space and what we can do in the meantime. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Nice job.
kids.
Thank you, guys. Good evening.
Good evening, Mayor and Commissioners. My name is Jung, and I am here from the Community Alliance of Tenants, but I am here to read a testimony from one of the city inspectors who wasn't able to make it tonight. So I'm unable to attend the hearing this evening due to a back injury. I would if I were able to. And his name is Dan Collins, and he's a building inspector for Compliance Services, Bureau of Development Services for City of Portland. However, if I did attend, I would express how my numerous observations and interactions over the past 18 years with CAT, Community Alliance of Tenants, as a City of Portland Bureau of Development Services housing inspector, has given me the exposure that CAT has provided much needed assistance to some of the most vulnerable community members in our city. Not only has CAT been an advocate for tenants living in conditions in violation of the city's Title 29 property maintenance regulations, but CAT's representatives have provided valuable assistance to city inspectors by informing tenants of their rights and their responsibilities, educating tenants on care of their housing environment, and other information which may result in better care of property owners' property, better actions to prevent illnesses within a specific dwelling unit and/or apartment complexes, and better results in having property owners address their housing responsibilities. CAT has reached out to landlords to address maintenance responsibilities with hopes of gaining cooperative repairs before contacting city enforcement divisions. Additionally, CAT has provided interpreters to assist in communications between city personnel and occupants, which helps both the occupants and inspectors. I have observed that CAT's involvement in rental property maintenance issues not only serves the needs of the people they are representing, but also has the effect of protecting the community at large by addressing health, safety, and welfare issues and providing livable and vital neighborhoods. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Could you give me that letter, please? I want to make sure that I thank that inspector for doing such a great job.
Nice. Thank you. Good evening.
Good evening. My name is Cynthia Furman. I'm with the leadership team at Portland Center Stage, and I'm here to talk in support of funding for the RAC budget, Regional Arts and Culture Council. I think most of you have been to shows at Portland Center Stage, so I don't need to tell you about what we do and what the quality of our work is, but I wanted to talk briefly about some of the other impacts we have on the community through the work we do. Firstly, through education programs, we are currently seeing an increase of 139% in the last 5 years of youth engagement in our education programs at PCS. Our stage show program alone provided more than 3,100 free tickets to Title I schools and nonprofit youth organizations last year, with 2,500 tickets made available at a deeply discounted price in addition to that to schools. More than 10,000 total people participated in PCS education programs last season alone. We also are very committed to community conversation around the work we do. Last year, with our productions of Clyburn Park and The Whipping Man, we partnered with a variety of community organizations to talk about the issues of those plays, in particular with Clyburn Park, with issues around gentrification and housing crisis. We partnered with organizations such as the Fair Housing Council to produce an exhibit in our lobby called Anywhere But Here, which was a history of housing discrimination in Oregon, and a program with the Oregon Humanities and Portland State University called Why Aren't There More Black People in Portland? A Hidden History. A few of the other community program partners we've worked with in the last season alone include the Urban League, Partners in Diversity, the Oregon Jewish Museum, Chinese American Citizens Alliance, and the Native American Youth Family Center. So our community programs are really important to the work we do. And the other major commitment we have is to accessibility. We try to make all of our performances and programs accessible to all. More than 40% of the people who came last year attended on some kind of discount program, including we have the leading participation in the Arts for All program, which allows Oregon Trail card holders to purchase tickets for only $5. We had over 2,000 people last year take advantage of that opportunity. We also provide most of our community programs for free and at no charge. As exciting as it can be to see a great show in a great space, we're equally proud of the work we do fostering community dialogue and connecting with citizens from all parts of the city that may not traditionally have had access to the arts. So I urge you to support RAC's funding request to restore the programs in arts and culture that were cut last year, and that thank you for your continued support of the arts and your past support of the arts.
Cynthia, just should note that is the current show or the prior show Othello?
We just closed Othello.
Commissioner Saltzman and I were at a forum recently at your theater, and we were actually on the
that
set
set?
of Othello. It was quite intimidating.
Oh, well, thank you. And I know there's other art supporters here today that didn't get a chance to speak, but we really appreciate your support on this issue.
Thanks very much.
Glad that no blood was shed.
You know, the interesting thing was, it's when you're sitting on a set that's fully lit, you actually, what I learned is you can't see into the audience, and there was someone timing us. And so Dan and I actually couldn't see the person timing us. So it was a little awkward. But it was an extraordinary experience to be up there.
Thank you.
Thanks very much. Thank you both. Okay.
The next three numbers are 98, 62, and 77, and after that we have 55, 33, and 41.
And about how many do we have left, do you know?
We've got about 30 tickets.
Okay, but I think a lot of those folks may have left, so, okay. Good evening.
You both get awards for sticking around.
Yeah,
30 minutes.
endurance awards.
Assistance, right?
Yes.
Good evening, commissioners and mayor. Nice to see you again.
It's
I
better
told you the last
circumstances.
time we saw each other that I was going to see you again and I would look better, and I think I do.
Well, I think we both do.
I'm
That
not
was
in my
pretty good.
pajamas, so that's great. At 4 a.m. on August 8th, I woke up to a fire outside of my house in Northeast Portland. Within minutes, I called 911 and ran out of the house with only my car keys, even losing my shoes as I ran, fearing for my life. In 10 minutes, the fire engulfed the sky, rising a quarter of a mile high, and eventually took everything I owned. The firefighters' response was massive. It was a 5-alarm fire, and over 135 firefighters responded. These men and women were and still are my heroes. They were not able to save much of my belongings, but they saved an entire city block in Northeast Portland. Cars were melted, houses were damaged with ash, but only 2 houses were victims of the enormous fire caused by arson, and most importantly, no lives were lost. This is a huge feat. They worked very hard, and had there not been more of them, we can only speculate how out of control this might have gotten. I cannot say strongly enough, the city of Portland should not make cuts that would result in a decrease in the number of firefighters in Portland. According to the United States Fire Administration National Data Center, fires are more likely in low-income areas of cities where there are abandoned buildings or new construction, which was the case near my home in Northeast Portland. Yet the proposed budget cuts are hitting just those low-income neighborhoods of Portland. North Portland and Northeast Portland will see a decrease in firefighters who are able to respond to calls like mine on the night of August 8th. This is a huge equity issue. I'm asking you as someone who has experienced the horror of a fire and also the exceptional work of the firefighters of Portland, please do not make budget cuts that result in fewer firefighters in the neighborhoods that we call home. Thank you.
Thanks very much.
Good evening. My name is Stephen Baudouin. I'm the Executive Director of FAME. We are Portland's Fine and Performing Arts Academy for young and older adults with developmental disabilities. All 4 of you, as commissioners and mayor, are familiar with our work. Mayor Hales, I got to dance with you and Nancy and Pink Martini and the students of FAME.
That's right.
In Pioneer Square just a few weeks
Fritz
ago.
and I were there.
Yes, you were both there. Thank you. And Commissioner Fish hosted our art show in the City Hall atrium a few weeks before that. I'm here obviously in support of RAC's request to restore funding for grants and services that were cut last year at the so-called, we want it restored to the so-called TLT method, using RAC's language in their current contract. But really I'm here tonight to tell you about a person that we work with at FAME. Her name is Cristal Figueroa, and Cristal is a recent graduate of Roosevelt High School, and she is a young woman with Down syndrome. And she's remarkable. She's not remarkable because of her disability. She's remarkable because she's an amazing poet. And so I want to read to you one of Cristal's poems that she's asked me to share with you tonight. It's called I Have a Voice. I am alone. I don't have any friends. I feel I'm left out. But I do have a voice. Everyone thinks I'm nobody and invisible. Do you know how to feel the power of my voice? No one likes me, but I don't care what they think about me because I have a voice to share around the world. I'm tired of being alone, and not having a voice is depressing. I have no one to hang out with. Sometimes I feel I don't have the power to speak out in front of the bullies. It's overwhelming to speak up and have your own voice. I feel stress, and not being part of a group makes me feel I'm left out. But I have a voice to share with the whole entire world. Your support of RAC gives voice to individuals like Cristal. I urge you to please support RAC at the fullest level possible, and I appreciate deeply your support of arts and culture.
Thank you. Evening.
Good evening, Mayor and the commissioners. I am also the victims of the big alarm fire last year. My building is the building that is still standing on MLK. And if not because of the firefighters, I am sure that building will have been destroyed completely. I had a business, that I ran in that building, and I will give the praise to you guys. You saved the irreplaceable documents because I prepare taxes, and financial records financial reports for my clients. And if not for the numbers of the firefighters that were present in that building, I would have lost everything. And please, Mayor, do not, reduce these numbers. And I'm for sure if we had enough, the building behind the complex would not have been completely, like yours, would not have been completely destroyed. So I'm here to appeal on behalf of the firefighters that please do not reduce the numbers. And again, I would like to thank you guys. I wish I could thank everybody because I saw a lot of them on that day. Please extend my thanks to everybody for saving those irreplaceable documents. And thank you, Mayor and the commissioners, for listening to me.
Thank you, and I hope you're able to rebuild your business. So that's had to be really difficult for you. Yeah, thank you very much.
Stephen, don't we have another connection? Isn't
again?
Kimberly Branham's father your landlord?
Say that again.
Kimberly Branham's dad is your landlord,
That's
right?
correct, Nick.
That's a small world.
That's correct.
That's a small world.
Cristal actually wanted to ask if it's okay if she comes around and visits each of you with a copy of that poem.
I would love that.
Okay.
And could you please thank her? That's a wonderful
I will. We'll
thought.
come by and visit you.
Great.
Thanks.
Let me do a check here. I think I see quite a few people who have spoken, but there are some people still signed up. How many are still planning to speak tonight? 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, good. I think we're going to make it then. Good. So let's just call numbers, and we might just dispense with numbers after the next group. So go ahead.
98. Raise your hand if I call your number, please. 98.
It might be quicker to do it this way. Why don't you come on up, please? Yes. And then let's take 2 more. Hands? Okay, come on up.
Come on up.
There we go. We can even take 4 at a time. So, good evening, welcome.
Hi.
Thanks for hanging out tonight.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me. My name is Abby Quarterman, and on August 8th, 2 days after I moved to Portland, my house burned down. And Teresa and I were just talking about if we were going to cry, and I said, absolutely not, and I very well might, so bear with me. As you know, I was the victim of one of Portland's largest fires in the past 13 years, a 5-alarm that required 135 firefighters to respond. The MLK fire in Northeast Portland severely impacted my life, and I learned how vitally important the trained emergency response personnel are, and how you never know when you're going to need them. I testify before you today to tell you about my experience working closely with the Portland Fire Department and asking you to reconsider the city budget proposal that will eliminate 26 firefighter positions. Our fire was a result of an arson. We were sleeping in a bed, and while we were sleeping in a bed, a fire was intentionally set on a construction site next door. We were awoken by our neighbor, Teresa, who just testified, and within mere minutes after escaping from our upstairs apartment, our unit was fully engulfed in flames. While we stood in our pajamas and watched our house burn, the firefighters worked tirelessly to ensure we were safe. From the moment the emergency responders arrived, we were cared for. And as they fought to control the blaze, they made efforts to retrieve our personal property, of which I'm truly grateful. They were not just concerned with our physical safety, but also with our emotional and mental safety.
and they advocated for the victims of the fire to make sure we receive the necessary community resources like the Red Cross. I firmly believe that it is because the city of Portland had fully staffed firehouses that at the time of our fire that we were so fortunate and well supported. When I reflect on my experience with the Portland firefighters, I am humbled by how very different our situation could have been had the proposed budget cuts been in place during our fire. The budget eliminates 26 vitally necessary trained emergency responders, men and women who put their lives on the line to ensure the safety of those around them and in their community. I find it outrageous that the city's proposed budget does not fully and adequately address the safety and security needs of the citizens of Portland. I shook your hand in the morning of our fire, Mayor Charlie Hales, and you welcomed me to the city after being new, just 2 days, and also reminded me that Portland has some of the best firefighters. I couldn't agree with you more. You also told me if there was anything that I needed in the future to contact your office. So I'm here before you now, 9 months later, with a request. I'm asking you to reconsider the city's most recent budget proposal, as it does not adequately address the commitment you have made to ensure public safety. I urge you to reconsider the proposed budget and allocate funds to support Portland Fire so they can remain fully staffed and be able to provide the necessary services the citizens of Portland pay for and deserve. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much.
Hi, my name is Lori Sugarbear. I run the North Portland Tool Library, and I'm here tonight to talk to you about your small grant, your neighborhood small grant program, which I know you are committed in funding again. In the current fiscal year, it has no funding at all. Robert Putnam, in his book, Bowling Alone, finds that a community's well-being is dependent on the quality of the relationships among the citizens of that community. Peter Block, in the book Community, The Structure of Belonging, states the next context that restores community is the one of possibility, generosity, and gifts, rather than one of problem-solving, fear, and retribution. In existence for 10 years now, the North Portland Tool Library stands as a cornerstone of our community. It is only through the funding of ONI and other small grants that we can remain so. The citizens of Portland who use the Tool Library are from every background imaginable. They are single moms and dads, small business owners just starting, and well-established businesses. They are college students working their way on a classroom project. They are community-based nonprofits like the Blue Heron Project, Vococom, and even the City of Portland Parks and Rec Services have come to us for tools.
That's how poorly funded we are.
Exactly. They are the people of Portland. With our tools, they are empowered to build or rebuild their lives, clean out city parks, and plant new seeds of a community garden. They build business and encourage entrepreneurship among each other. They start businesses and create rooms for new life. They beautify the city and streets that we live on. They learn to be a village. They want to be a village. People are seen and heard and celebrated among others. They learn to help one another, and I have seen the firsthand that members sharing a project or a problem and even lending their own personal tools to one another. What we build is social capital by authorizing our members to take control of. With that, we buy safety and community cohesion. We welcome new neighbors from near and far with open hearts and helping hands, thus reducing the anxiety of people. We strengthen what makes Portland so great already. We ask not that the City of Portland do things for us, but that you find a path today to make the funds of ONI available once more for us, so that we may continue to grow and strengthen that which is most important to us, community.
Thank you very much.
Can we do this?
Let's slide our high-tech microphone is there. Thank you. Yes, please. We're not budgeting for a new sound system, but we wish we were.
Good evening, Mayor and Commissioners. My name is Patricia Rojas, and I'm the Division Manager of El Programa Hispano. El Programa Hispano is the Latino Services Division of Catholic Charities. We provide an array of services, including educational support services for youth and adults, domestic violence and sexual assault services, which includes the only 24/7 bilingual hotline in the Northwest,
and anti-poverty services. Funding that the city has provided has had an enormous impact in our community. The funding that you provided for our mobile housing services as part of the homeless families continuum of care has led to housing over 200 families. Thank you for the partnership that you and the leadership that you have demonstrated with the county to impact and to make movement in ending homelessness in Portland. Along those lines, I do support the fair housing initiatives that have come forward, which will help mitigate some of the barriers that are faced by the families we work with. Additionally, funding of culturally specific domestic violence services has supported our ability to run our domestic violence response unit, which served 57 clients this year in high-risk cases that involved police intervention. Along those lines, I also support the proposed position in the police department to have somebody who's able to work to develop culturally responsive practices. And so I just want to say thank you for the leadership, for the funding. We want to encourage you to continue to reach out to organizations such as El Programa Hispano that have the trust and relationships with their particular communities of color to continue to develop pathways for our communities and people who are marginalized to lead a higher quality of life. Thank you.
Thank you. These are really impressive numbers.
Hello, my name is Allison Dunphy. I also work for El Programa Hispano. And El Programa Hispano is the lead agency for 2 Sun Community Schools in the city of Portland. That's Ron Russell Middle School and Floyd Light Middle School. And I'm here tonight to thank the city for coming together with the county and David Douglas School District to come up with a funding solution for these 2 schools. For the last 5 years, we've been funded by a grant through the Oregon Department of Education, and that grant is ending, and so we very much appreciate the city of Portland stepping in and helping the county and the school district fund those 2 schools. I passed out some information to you about some of our outcomes, and I just want to share some of those highlights. On state reading tests last school year, 73% of the students at Floyd Light Middle School improved on those tests, and 81% of students at Ron Russell improved. Likewise, on the state math tests, 75% of students in Sun at Floyd Light improved their scores on that test, and 86% at Ron Russell Middle School improved their scores. And finally, the average daily attendance for students participating in Sun, their attendance during the regular school day is approximately 96%, which is higher than the state average. So thank you again for helping to fund these 2 Sun community schools.
Great, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks, thank you all. Okay, and we have, I think, a few more people that still want to speak. Come on up. Thanks for being patient. Put that thing on wheels eventually.
Good evening. My name is Sheila Diaz, and I'm here tonight on behalf of Portlanders for Outdoor School. So, as all of you know, I'm sure Outdoor School is a very long-standing program. It's been around for over 50 years, and it's amazing in the breadth of students that it's reached throughout our community, in addition to the number of ways in which it does reach those students. So we've greatly appreciated the support from the city in the past, and would really love to find a way to include some support from the city for these upcoming years. Currently, there is support from a number of other agencies, such as East and West Multnomah County Soil and Water Conservation Districts, Metro, many other organizations. We'd love to see the city of Portland join that group. As you all know, Outdoor School does amazing things. So it reaches 6th graders from across the entire region, not regardless of their socioeconomic background, their racial and cultural backgrounds, as well as their geographic background, brings them all together in a way that they can learn from each other through community and develop those relationships that do truly help them in the future overcome any of those discomforts or misunderstandings. So it provides a great framework for that. It also is an essential role when we're looking at STEM education in today's current climate trying to achieve the goals with next generation science standards. Right at middle school is when studies show that students' interest in science starts to drop off, and outdoor school hits them right then and gives them authentic hands-on education at that time. In addition to the work it does for sixth grade students, it's also an amazing program for our high school students, providing them an opportunity for gaining job skills, career opportunities, and really those life skills of learning responsibility and appropriate behavior, as well as providing them the opportunity to be role models for those younger students. It also builds strategic and effective partnerships across our city, and it's just an amazing program. Being somebody who grew up here in Portland, has been here my whole life, there's no other program that I know that does such an effective job of reaching people at so many levels. So when we're looking at achieving the goals of the Portland Plan and trying to educate our citizenry and connect them with their local place, this is a program that really deserves that connection and that support. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks. Good evening.
Hello, my name's Steve Matson. I'm the manager of the Hooper Detox Center, the Sobering Station, and the Cheers programs. Both Sobering and Cheers care for people who've been incapacitated by drugs and alcohol in public. And they both add to the livability of the city and the public safety by freeing the police to work on the mission for which they've been trained. The city's been funding Cheers with one-time use money for over 20 years. And Sobering now, half of its funding is going to be one-time use money. I'd like to encourage you to consider funding both programs with ongoing money.
We appreciate the work you do.
Thank you.
Yeah, and that's why we're moving. That is why we're moving that direction.
Good to hear.
We wish that this was a temporary problem, and I bet you do too, but none of us thinks that it is. So one of the reasons for the whole discussion between me and Chair Madrigal is to get these things on a firm footing and figure out who's going to pay for what for the long run.
Sure.
That's what you need to be set up for.
Yes, I think so too.
Thank you for the work you do.
Thank you.
We don't have enough ongoing funding for this year, but it's news to me that it's been 20 years that you've been one-time funded.
Yeah, that's crazy.
A lot of endurance, and obviously a number of different councils have seen the value of the work and have not cut it. So I certainly am committed to seeing it through.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Welcome back to City Hall.
Thank you, Commissioner.
And we're trying to gradually sweep everything that has been a serial one-time expenditure over into ongoing. We've gotten partway there. As you can hear from this colloquy, all of us know we want to get the rest of the way there.
Sure.
So it won't be 20 years.
Great. Thank you very much.
We'll either do it in less time than that or die trying. Thank you. Lightning, you may get the last word unless there's anyone else.
Lightning,
that plans to
normally we
speak.
get one of the first words. This is the last
This is
one. Your
unusual.
cleanup
Is
today.
there anyone else that plans to speak tonight? Well, Lightning,
I
already
suggest we suspend the rules and we give Lightning as much time as he needs, because there's a lot to wrap up here.
No, I could take all night long, you know better than that.
All right, never mind.
Anyway, don't do that.
For dinner, we'll be right back.
Yeah, don't do that. Anyway, I represent Think Lightning Company. My name is Lightning. Your Portland Housing Bureau budget at approximately $82 million, it needs to be doubled. Now, you may not want to hear that, but I think that we need to start looking more at the business licenses. We have $79 million coming in basically there. I'd like to see more of that being directed toward the Portland Housing Bureau. Also, our property tax revenue, we have 23,000 units online. We know there's going to be a tremendous amount of property tax revenue created. I want to see an adjustment on that property tax revenue directed to the Portland Housing Bureau. Also, we know that there's a Google franchise fee coming up at 5%. I don't believe anybody's spoken for that money yet. Maybe I'm wrong. I'd like to propose 50% of that fee goes to the Portland Housing Bureau. Again, we need more development. We have 1,500 to 2,000 people chronically homeless outside on the streets and the doorways. We need development funding, at least $100+ million to get them into some form of housing. It's the best thing for the city to do that. I feel that if we start to focus on the resources that we have the ability to kick up, I believe the funding is out there. And again, I know there's been no number on that franchise fee determined at this time, but I'd like, again, to propose 50% of that fee go toward the Portland Housing Bureau to end chronic homelessness. And that's what I'm proposing today. Thank you for your time.
Thank you
very much.
Well, if there's no one else who plans to testify, then I think I can do this. I will close the Budget Committee
We
hearing. Right?
closing or continuing?
Closing.
Continuing?
Continuing, which is it? I'm continuing until next Wednesday?
Yes.
Until next Thursday? Until the 28th?
Oh, 28th, yeah.
Okay, it's been a long day. Then I will continue this Budget Committee hearing until the 28th of May, and we are adjourned. Whew.